Sometimes Spider-Man has to do the hard thing, even if it breaks Peter Parker's heart.
Spiders have 3 life cycles. And for those spiders who make it through, it amounts to a kind of rebirth.
We've got some huge news for you. Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming to Chinese theaters.
When Doctor Strange cast his last spell, Peter Parker was forgotten by the entire world,
leaving his best friend and true love to forget about him. Despite that, he throws himself deeper into the responsibility of Spider-Man and a new life without a support system.
Spider-Man faces challenges like never before, with mysterious villains appearing one after another.
Plus, he unlocks the super cool ability of organic web shooters.
Want to discover more surprises?
come find out at the cinema.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Sony and Marvel released a new Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer in promo with a couple of funny moments in there too. Also some jokes about Sadie Sink's character and who she's really playing, so we will break it all down. There have also been a number of leaks the last couple of days, like 4 or 5 different versions of the trailer at this point that have completely leaked out. I know there's going to be a ton of questions about the stuff in that, so I'll try to address that as much as possible in this because it does offer a lot more clues about what's actually happening during the movie, especially with Sadie Sink's mystery character and the Hulk. Par for the course, it also seems like they've edited the trailers, including the leaked versions of the trailers, to be very misleading, so you don't actually know what's going on with Sadie Sink's character or who the real villain of the movie is going to be. Always love it during the promos when they use that classic 1960s redo version they did for Spider-Man Homecoming. Like, that's an old theme that they used for the original Spider-Man Homecoming movie that they just continued to use, but it just incorporates the classic 1960s Spider-Man theme. But one of the funny reasons why they're doing this special China promo and why they're basically recapping the events of Spider-Man No Way Home for China is because, if you don't remember, that movie did not release in China because of the Statue of Liberty big finale, big final battle. Tom Rothman, the president at Sony, told this funny story about how during that time when they were releasing Spider-Man No Way Home, they tried to release it in China, and the Chinese government said, you can't use the Statue of Liberty this way, and they tried to get him to take it out of the movie. Like, could you just cut out the Statue of Liberty?
Are you sure?
And Tom Rothman had to explain to them that, like, no, this is like the big final battle of the movie. We spent hundreds of millions of dollars all leading up to this giant final battle. It's a huge, huge part of the movie. How can we remove this? There's no way we can remove it. So this is why the movie did not get a release in China, but it still earned over $1 billion. Like, it still did gangbusters money. So when it came time to make Spider-Man Brand New Day, they tried to tune it specifically so it would be easier for them to actually release in China and they could get the extra chunk of money from the Chinese box office. But I also love the way in the promo they have the ... question marks under Sadie Sink's character, like who is she playing? But this is like our first example of her with the rest of the cast actually promoting the movie. All of her scenes so far in the trailers that they have released have just been like her wrist or like her in the background all blurry and you can't see her. Like, they've been doing everything they can to not show you her face. But there is a lot of her in the new trailers that have leaked out, so we'll try to explain that. So in the trailers, after he comes out of his cocoon, he starts mutating and his biological powers start evolving. He puts on his new web shooters and some of this new footage, this leaked footage. When he tries to use them, the web shooters fly off of his wrist because of his organic webbing, starts pushing through the holes, the spider holes that they joked about with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in No Way Home. That was a big joke in the movie. If only Tobey Maguire were standing around somewhere nearby and he could just ask him about those, like, oh, hey, I've got the spider holes too. How do you deal with this? The actual organic webbing is not something originally from the comics. Originally, he had mechanical web shooters when Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created the character. It was actually James Cameron, during his 1990s version of the Spider-Man movie, he tried to get made and failed. Most people believe that would have been Leonardo DiCaprio playing Spider-Man if he had made that during the 90s. When he left the project and then Sam Raimi eventually came on the project in the early 2000s, the organic web shooters aspect of the character just stuck into that version with Tobey Maguire's version of the character. Then in one of the new leaked trailers, he goes to Bruce Banner at Empire State University, who's working as a professor there now, we've seen in the other trailers, to ask him for help because he knows he's the Hulk and he's learned how to control his mutation, his transformations, and has studied it for many years, and asks him for a way to specifically suppress his Spider-Man mutation from changing him further.
If DNA is mutating, it would be enormously dangerous.
Bruce Banner shows him his gamma inhibitor that he got during the She-Hulk series. I mean, it was a little bit before the events of the She-Hulk series, but he's had it for a couple years now in the MCU. And it's the same type of gamma inhibitor we see Spider-Man working on his laptop with MJ behind him in previous previews. Now it kind of makes me think that Spider-Man is working on these schematics to build a version for himself to stop himself from further mutating into Man-Spider. Then while they're still in the middle of their conversation in Bruce Banner's classroom, Bruce Banner says to him, if you see me with this off, his gamma inhibitor, you run. And then he jokingly makes the scary Hulk out move, trying to clown on him like he's transforming, but he's not really. He's done this to other characters in the MCU, and most people, like in Avengers Age of Ultron, all the other Avengers, did not like it. They were not happy about this. Then while they're walking outside out of the building, Peter asks Bruce Banner, how do you get rid of the bad aspects of your mutation but keep the good parts? The beneficial aspects of their transformation in the Hulk's case would be like the Professor Hulk, where it's the power of the Hulk but the really advanced mind of Banner. While Bruce Banner is answering him, there's footage of Spider-Man they cut across this with his organic webbing swinging across New York City, but not being able to control it very well because it's so new to him and it's way stronger than his artificial webbing, and he accidentally crashes into like this very formal dinner with a whole bunch of people just saying, oh, I'm so sorry about this, I crashed into your dinner, like it's a very awkward, funny moment. And during their conversation, Bruce Banner tells Peter, how would you decide what parts of nature are good or bad? Like, how would you pick which aspects of your mutation, this spider evolution you're going through, are good and which are bad? Bruce Banner smiles at him, realizing what's happening here, and says, you're not one of my students, are you? And Peter kind of chuckles at him like, yep, sorry, I'm not in your class. And I think this soft confirms that Peter might not actually be a student at Empire State University at all when the movie picks up. Maybe he'll enroll after Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, because this is kind of like Peter in college arc in the Spider-Man movies. Like Tobey Maguire went straight from high school to Empire State University in his first Spider-Man movie, but during the Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy, they started with him in high school and he slowly graduated, and it kind of made it seem like we would follow Peter through his college years in the next trilogy at some point. But it seems like this movie, when things pick up, he has not done that yet. Like he's just been Spider-Man 24/7, so he hasn't had time to actually enroll in college yet. But the really big reason why Empire State is such a huge deal is because that's where he went in the comics. That's a big comic book thing.
0.23 electron volts.
Then we get a much longer version of the scene with him talking to William Metzger in the damage control office when he's still in his Spider-Man suit. And he says, we're faced with a threat we can't control, one we can't even see. And there's a new scene of Sadie Sink's character in her yellow and green hoodie, covering her entire face so you can't actually see her in the hoodie, giving her vibes of the Void personality from the Sentry during the Thunderbolts movie. We can't really see where she is, but it's the same scene where you see her raise her arms up with the computer in front of her. It looks kind of like Peter's apartment, but it might not be Peter's apartment. It might be somewhere else. There's a really big blast wave effect around Riker's Island. It's like Riker's prison, this big blast radius, which might have something to do with the prison break that we see in all the trailers. Maybe it's where the damage control prison is that's holding Sadie Sink's character, or maybe that's how Scorpion also breaks out of prison too. And it's meant to be her mind control blast radius, like this is major effect, and it covers the rest of Manhattan the same way that the Sentry's Void effect started covering the rest of Manhattan. That's why people are making Void comps. Like, it's a little bit like what happened during the Thunderbolts movie, but it seems like what they're trying to depict is a mind control wave covering the entire city. Like a really powerful telepath covering the entire city with their ability. While the mind control blast wave is covering everyone, like they're making it a very visual effect, you see Punisher standing in the middle of the street in his new suit. He gets hit by the blast wave. Spider-Man is in the streets leaving the party he just crashed into and sees the blast wave hitting a bunch of people and frozen, acting really weird. Like, why is everybody being weird? We get a little bit more of the scene of William Metzger, like more of the conversation goes on, and he says, "You're the only one who's immune to it. You're the only one who can sense it," which I think means that Spider-Man is immune to Sadie Sink's mind control after his spider mutation for some reason, meaning that something about his new biological spider powers makes him immune to Jean Grey's telepathy, which is huge. I don't think that that is something from the comics. I've never seen any stories where he's immune to Jean Grey's telepathy in the comics. While he's walking outside of the dinner that he crashed into, he sees her jumping mines across other people into a helicopter pilot and take off in the helicopter. While he's still inside the conversation with William Metzger inside his office, he asks him, "What do you think they're looking for?" And he's talking about Sadie Sink, like, what is Sadie Sink's character looking for? Why is she jumping across all these mines trying to control all these people in the city? Then we get a really trippy scene of Sadie Sink's character talking to Spider-Man on the street while she's inside the bodies of other random people, mind-controlling them, and she quickly jumps from body to body while they're having the conversation and says, "You're the only person I can't control. Sadie Sink can't control Spider-Man. I think I'll go see how MJ is doing." And you get a couple lines of dialogue from different people, so he starts to freak out and goes to MJ's apartment to try and rescue her. While he's still in his Spider-Man outfit, she still doesn't know that he's Peter Parker, but knows who Spider-Man is. Like, she remembers her adventures with Spider-Man during high school a couple years ago.
Just a neighbor from across the hall.
Friendly neighbor.
Then we get our big scene of Spider-Man encountering the Hulk after he's hulked out again. So he's inside a room with Bruce Banner, and he sees his gamma inhibitor has been ripped off and damaged, and realizes that Sadie Sink is mind-controlling Bruce Banner and says, "You're not going to get away with this." And then she says in his voice, in Bruce Banner's voice, because she's inside his body and inside his mind, "But he might," as in the Hulk might, and forces him to Hulk out in the room. While this is going on, you see that scene from the previous trailers where she's raising her hands up. I think they want to make it seem like she's causing him to Hulk, like, make him bigger, Hulk out now. Peter then says to Hulk, "I didn't know you could get that big," and this is the scene where people think that he turns from Green Hulk to Gray Hulk and gets bigger than normal, but that might just be color grading playing tricks on people, so it's not really clear if he actually turns into Gray Hulk in the movie. He might just still be Green Hulk. And we get our big Hulk versus Spider-Man scene where he tries to thunderclap Spider-Man. We've seen him thunderclap several times across the movies and TV shows. It's a big comic book move. After a bit of a time jump, he takes MJ to Frank Castle Punisher to try and protect her and begs Punisher for help. Like, "I can't go anywhere else. I can't take her anywhere else. Please help her out while I deal with this." This is also from the same scene where Punisher tells Spider-Man, "I think you're losing it, kid," that we've seen in the previous trailer. So this is like inside Punisher's lair where he takes MJ. And after Spider-Man tries to go and stop Sadie Sink's character, it sounds like, or like resolve whatever's happening here, it's actually MJ that convinces Punisher to go help Spider-Man out. Like, are you going to go help him out? So it kind of seems like MJ is a much bigger part of the plot than we previously thought. And right after this scene, you see the big fight scene of Spider-Man versus the Hand inside the prison. So now I kind of wonder if it's actually Sadie Sink mind-controlling the Hand, since they keep hyping up her as the antagonist to Spider-Man in this new leaked version of the trailer. Like, they really want to make her seem like she's an antagonist, but I don't think she's actually supposed to be a real villain. My early theory, if she is playing Jean Grey, the trailers are just playing tricks on us, and she believes that her life is in danger, so she's actually just trying to protect herself, and it just makes it seem like she is a villain, because it puts her at odds with Spider-Man in the movie.
We're like Dorothy and Oz, except there's no yellow brick road. Everything connects.
My assumption is that once Spider-Man eventually gets close to her, he eventually figures out what's really going on and is like, "No, let me help you." And that's like the end of the movie. And there's like a big cliffhanger because we have Avengers Doomsday. There'll be like a big Doomsday kind of cliffhanger that will explain why they're not in Doomsday and they don't come back to Avengers Secret Wars. One of the funny things about that, though, is that it still doesn't answer who the actual main villain of this movie is going to be. They want you to think from the trailers like it might be Sadie Sink's character, but I just do not think that is the case if she's going to wind up being the MCU version of Jean Grey after Secret Wars. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below, and if Marvel and Sony are editing the trailer in a really misleading way, let me know what you think is really going on in the movie. Streets are saying Sony is going to release an official shiny HD version of one of these new trailers at some point, either Monday or Wednesday next week. Whatever winds up happening, whatever they release, of course I will do all the videos for it. We will see what sticks between the leaked version of the trailers and the official version, because everybody seems to think that Sony is going to recut new versions of the trailer that people have not seen yet, that have not leaked out yet already. Everybody click here for that video. I'll update the link as soon as I post that, and click here for all my other Spider-Man Brand New Day videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.